So, welcome back to the streamings of Hong Kong-Taiwan Friendly Cup 2016. We will stream another games from two Hong Kong players. And the bottom side, we have Jeremy's here, and the opponents will be Travis CHU.
We're streaming this game because both of these players are at the top of the ladder. Travis is undefeated today, 4-0, where Jeremy is 3-1. You saw his first loss in the first round on the stream.
So we'll see another dual primal teams with Salamans, Kangaskhan, Smeagol, and Cresselia from Travis.
And Jeremy's team is Cernius, Groudon, Cresselia, Salamans, Smeagol, and Bronzor.
So what do you think about the matchup?
Big BC.
Yeah, Big BC versus dual primals.
A lot of the Pokemon on both teams are very similar. Both teams have Smeagol, Cresselia, Groudon, and Salamence, and it comes down to which sets that these Groudons and Salamences are carrying, as well as the supporting moves on Cresselia. Cernius doesn't really have an answer to it, I think, on Travis's team.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting to see once again the Aaron Trailers base team versus my team.
The Big BC.
Yeah, Big BC. I had a big defeat at that time. So let's see if they will copy my defeats. So we'll jump directly into the games. And Jeremy is leading. We see Travis first. It's a Kangaskhan Cresselia. And Jeremy is using Salamence and Smeagol. Intimidate fire off to lower the attack stats of the Kangaskhan. So a slight advantage is on Travis' side because the access of the icy winds and the fake out, the faster fake out. If
Cresselia could maybe have Ice Beam as well.
Is it possible?
We haven't seen that. But either way, Ice Tap attacks do hit that Salamence for 4 times effective damage.
We seldom see that indeed.
What will this Smeagol do, though?
So, Jeremy is retreating his Salamence into the Groudons. And we have 10 seconds to see the magnificent
Primal Reversion. So, I wonder if they changed the Primal Reversion animation in Pokemon Sun and Moon.
I don't think so, because this Mega Evolution animation looks quite similar to the current ones. And we see the Kangaskhan Mega Evolving will use the Fake Out. So we see a Spiky Shield from Jeremy's Smeagol. And a double edge directly onto the Groudons! Though the damage is minimal, it still do around 40% of the damage.
Yeah, the Intimidate really paid off there with an Intimidated Kangaskhan doing very little to that Groudon.
And we see an Icy Wind here. The Smeagol boosts its speed right away. A direct slam into the face of Travis.
The face of Travis.
Now with Smeagol doubling its speed, it can safely fire off a Dark Void against Travis's both Pokemon. What will Groudon want to do, though? Will it want to attack, or will it want to protect or set up?
Yeah.
That is the question. And what will Travis do? If
I
he's
don't
expecting
really
the
know.
Dark
All
Void,
right, the Dark Void is incoming, at least connecting one of them, and it connects both of them.
Yep, both of these Pokemon will not be able to move this turn.
So
Now it's Groudon's turn, and
and
minus one
it's
speed,
a
it
sword
sets up a sword
dance.
stance.
Is it too risky to play this like this? Because and Moody Boost to boost the accuracy again, and the speed finally drops a bit.
Well, with accuracy boost and that increased speed by 1 level, Smeargle can cover for any switch-ins with Dark Void, and that Groudon is free to attack whichever Pokemon is on the field.
But one thing to note out is that the Groundon is currently one speed stat, -1 speed stat. So Smeargle is switching out into the Cresselia.
It probably does not appreciate a Kyru switching on the other end, and Cresselia.
And the Cresselia woke up and used the Psychic onto the... Wow, and doing a very large amount of damage.
Oh, that's a
Crystal
critical
Bite
hit.
Blade directly knocks out the Kangaskhan, but it allows the free switchings of Kyogres, which is not nice to...
Yeah, even though Groudon took so much damage in the last turn, I think it was a good move by Jeremy's part to switch in that Cresselia, because now he has the option to skill swap, levitate onto this Groudon, and reset the weather no matter which primal comes in on the other side.
But that depends on the speed of the Cresselia of both sides.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see 2 skill swaps. So another Groudon is coming into the field.
But at the same time, Jeremy's Groudon at +2 attack is very threatening to the other side.
Travis' Groudon is temporarily faster than the opponent's one because thanks to the Icy Wind touch in the early games. So, a very tough decisions. So, switching out into the Smeagol with his own Cresselia. And Jeremy used a Protect on his Groundons and a Psychics onto the Groundons. And the Eruptions. When it brings the
That's still a very
Cresselia-
strong eruption.
Oh,
from
but
Groudon.
it brings it to the one of... This doesn't activate the Citrus Berry. So it will bring down to the damage rolls from Travis. And a fake out Eruption should be able to finish off the Cresselia and also the Groundon.
Does Jeremy want to preserve his Groudon though?
So, fake out. Oh, Cresselia avoids the attack of the fake out.
That accuracy drop really mattered. I've never seen a fake out miss before.
I did seen one before, but it's quite funny. So the fake out miss activates the Citrus Berry of Cresselia. And another Moody Boost increases attacks on the Smeagol. It doesn't do anything good to the Smeagol of Travis' side.
Jeremy is now in quite a tough position because his main attacker, the Primal Groudon, has been knocked out.
With the Salamence switching here, fires off Intimidate.
I think we've seen all 4 Pokemon on Travis's side, right?
Yes.
The Cresselia, Smeargle,
And the last
Groudon.
slot would be the Cresselia.
And the first one to be knocked out was...
大家都係讀到。喂，你咪話真係 miss 咗？真係動工 miss，唔好意思啊。最 miss 沙律文，第二次啦咁啊，都係沙律文。唔緊要。
So, both sides is doing the decisions. Let's see what's coming in.
Yeah, the Salamence isn't really threatened by that Groudon, except if that opposing Groudon has a Rock type or Ice type move.
So instead, Travis switch out his Groudon into the Cresselia. And the Salamence is Mega Evolving.
Yeah, that opposing Groudon is the only restricted legendary left in the game, and it does not want to continually take chip damage with Hyper Voice and Psychics.
Oh, the Hyper Voice knocked the Smeargle out. And the Psychic is launched on the opposing Cresselia.
That does not do very much at all.
So the Groudon is coming back to the field.
但係你一定唔係全速㗎。
But Jeremy is in a pretty strong position right now.
喂，真係。
Yes, with the threats of Hyper Voice and Psychics, the Groudon couldn't survive both attacks. But on the same time, Travis could choose to protect his own Groudons and fire off an Icy Wind.
Yep.
嗰隻又成分。Oh shit！
Then Jeremy still has his Smeargle.
But a Smeargle alone cannot fight 2 Pokemons with with attacks.
Unless it has Transform.
呢個買鏡嚟㗎，冇人要鏡。Super Soul 唔夠你快。
So, a very interesting turn here.
嗰隻最速。
So, the opposing Groudon is using the Protect as predicted. So, we would see a double edge first from the Salamence, and it survives.
That is a
So,
very bulky Cresselia.
it should be able to fire off an Icy Wind here.
Yeah, Salamence does not appreciate that Icy Wind, not just because of the damage it deals, but also because of the speed drop.
哦，即係你招哨唔知係火種。
Now, the speed drops makes the Salamence susceptible to the opposing Cresselia's Icy Winds.
Yep.
And at this moment, the opponent's Groudon could fire off an Eruptions freely.
speed 都冇用咯，都係，咪都有用，快過布拉多。
Jeremy does have the option of switching out his Salamence.
Yeah.
Because if Smeargle is not much use, then the Mega Salamence can come back in later with its speed reset.
So, as predicted, the Salamence will switch out into the Smeargle. So we see another Icy Wind here. And the eruption is coming. A Fire Punch.
That Fire Punch targets down the Cresselia.
So
That was probably a prediction from Travis, predicting a switch out from that Salamence.
the special defense drops from the Smeargles. So
If
If Mega Salamence can deal with that Cresselia, then it might be able. No, not really.
Because
I don't think
I
Mega
don't. Yeah, the
Salamence.
Hyper Voice could knock out either of those Pokemons, but a WS can't. But if Salamence is devoted to use a Double Edge, then it would. Yeah, it would probably allows the Groundons to attack freely.
Of course, at the same time, you can't ignore the Smeargle on the field, and if Travis attacks blindly into that Salamence spot, Smeargle might be able to Dark Void and put the opposing Pokemon to sleep.
So purely a mind games here. We see Protect from the Salamence. How about the opponent? Another Icy Wind is going to take the speed of Smeargle's. Will we see a Fire Punch? Will we see eruptions? And a Fire Punch into the Salamence, and the Dark Voice connected.
Yeah, that was probably the only way that Jeremy
Oh, but the Cresselia
had a chance to win the game.
this is not. So accuracy increase and special defense drops. So Cresselia still has the assets of Icy Wind. So Jeremy should be double edging into this Cresselia.
Would Hyper Voice be able to take a KO on that Cresselia at 25%?
I doubt. Maybe yes, maybe no. Depends. The statistics distribution should vary between both players.
Because as we saw from the double edge on Cresselia, there is quite a bit of physical bulk to this Cresselia.
We'll see the double edge.
Hit the Cresselia. It's a critical hit as well. But it doesn't matter that Cresselia is going down. Yep.
So
that Groudon is guaranteed to sleep.
The game is still not over yet because the Groundon could still knock out the Salamence if it wins.
This probably comes down to sleep turns for both of these Pokemon.
So
Wide Guard comes out from Smeargle in case of an eruption.
So the Hyper Voice single targeting. Will it take it down? No, but it's fast asleep.
And that will probably be a win for Jeremy in Game 1. A very close game. Very close game. And that Hyper Voice does end up knocking out that Primal Groudon.
Yes, it's quite close game.
It's interesting that in this Game 1, both of these players only chose to bring one of their restricted Pokemon, and that was Groudon. We did not see a Cernius from Jeremy or the Kyogre from Travis's side.
Yes. So both choose to use one restricted Pokemon.
But of course, the Mega Pokemon from Jeremy's side, Mega Salamence, was very useful to facing that Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon cannot hit that Mega Salamence due to the flying type that Mega Salamence has, whereas Mega Salamence can gradually chip at Primal Groudon's health with the narrowly boosted Hyper Voices.
Oh, interesting. We can see that the nicknames of Jeremy's Bronzong is a belt note. As opposed to Aaron's traders usually say that it's a bell but it's a bell note instead.
I don't think that Bronzong will appear in this match because it's not really useful in this matchup. I think it works against opposing Cernius, but not really against
Yes.
much else. Maybe against Kyogre teams for this skill
So
swap.
it's still the games that dictated by both Smeagol's.
Yep. Again, we've seen a lot of Smeargle today.
Yes, Smeagol is still the dominating factor. So,
And the thing about Smeargle is that even if you make a wrong move, there's also an advantage if you get the right boosts due to Moody.
yeah, any boost concerning the speed, evasionness,
Accuracy.
yeah, all that. Maybe some kind of defense.
We saw that fake out miss from Smeargle. So
Anyway, the second game is here, and we see the Kangaskhan Cresselia. And the Cernius Smeagol's on the other hand.
So switching up his leads. It seems pretty advantageous to the Kangaskhan, right?
Yeah, Kangaskhan has the options of using the fake out and a full power double edge onto the Cernius.
But then if Cernius predicts that fake out and
Smeargle Dark Horse,
yeah.
like the latter games of the last game.
But then at the same time, Smeargle really fears Kangaskhan because a double edge from Kangaskhan would knock it out due to hitting 2 times through that focus sash. What will Cernius do? Will it protect? Will it Geomancy? Will it attack into both of these Pokemon? How many moves have we seen from that Cresselia though?
Cresselia, I think that Cresselia is the same as mine. And the Psychic, Icy Wind. We only see. We
Does
only
it
saw
possibly
it,
have Trick Room?
Trick Rooms or Icy Wind, but we only saw it attacks all the way.
Yep.
So, a Salamence coming in, firing off the Intimidate.
I think we'll see that Cernius Geomancy right now. With Salamence coming in to intimidate that Mega Kangaskhan, Jeremy's Cernius is not afraid of any double edge.
It's a double edge onto the Cernius. Wow, it's a critical hit.
Wow, the first one is a critical hit. That takes Cernius down to around.
And we see a thunder
Quarter of
wave
its health.
onto the Cernius. Will it able to move? Or will it?
Things do not look good.
Yeah, but we still see the Geomancies from the Cernius, boosting the stat into the fearsome doubling the special attack, special defense, and speed.
At the same time, though, the paralysis quarters its speed, so now it's just half of its original speed.
So basically, it's still the slowest Pokemon to the field.
What will this Mega Salamence be able to do? It could choose to chip away at both of the opposing Pokemon with Hyper Voice, or target down the Kangaskhan.
So,
Double
all
edge.
Pokemon staying in the field. We see a double edge onto the Cernius, knocking it out with ease, and another critical hit.
Another critical hit.
And we should be seeing an Icy Wind from the Cresselia with a single target, which is not a good news for Jeremy. But the Tailwind is coming from the Salamence.
Yep, the Icy Wind comes out.
Should be
Which
able
uses
to
Salamance's
60 to 70%
Wow.
of the damage. It's quite a lot.
Did a lot of damage. Jeremy switches in his Smeargle.
Hoping to use the buff point right away.
Yeah, there are a lot of possibilities to what these two players can do. And most of the teams that we've seen in VGC 16 have been composed of these same Pokemon, just because of how versatile these Pokemon can be, and how big their base sets are.
So, switching in back to the Salamence, not hoping to receive any more Icy Wind damage from the Cresselia.
只可以播呢樣。桃桃犬被
定係換走隻兔隊，
呢隻桃桃犬敗自己家族。
So, the Dark Void connects
唉，我俾你殺。
with both Pokemon.
寫狀啊！
俾你殺。
再加咩啊？
桃桃犬無敵。俾我啊！
Yeah, that was a good play by Jeremy's part. With the Tailwind up, the Smeargle would outspeed both Kangaskhan and Cresselia, put them to sleep. And probably on the next turn, he might go for a Sword Dance on that ground.
Oh, the accuracy drops, but the defense is up.
你咁開心啊！
讀啱都係算。
唔一定係讀啱嘅，因為有啲位你係好多50位你，但係可能有啲唔係50嘅位我贏，你唔覺？
好開心啊！連我隻 X 我都可以贏，我真係覺得好感動嘅啫。呢場一定要勝利
可以贏得咦？
真係。
點解補嘅？跑佢喎，你咪傻咗啊？
你拉低個 win score
嚟。黐線㗎！佢 quit 咗嘅 X，但我都係贏。
撲街啦，掟標啊！撲街
而家你 quit 咗啦？
So, it's still the problem. The Cresselia is really annoying. So, Jeremy really needs to take care of this Cresselia very well in case, in the coming games. So, switching out the Smeargles back to the Salamence. And we see a Sword Dance from the Groundons.
你講多次，草莓咩？
草莓奶茶加珍珠。
But the Cresselia is
有冇人
up
落去？
and the Thunder Wave into the Salamence. Wow.
But then with this Groudon with +2 attack and the Tailwind on this side, it's very threatening for
We
Travis.
still haven't seen the two remaining Pokemons from.
It could very possibly be a Kyogre.
喂，等埋睇下有冇
If a Kyogre, then the switching would be very threatening to any fire type move that Jeremy was going to use.
At the same time, though, Precipice Blades from Groudon could also be very detrimental
So
to.
the problem is still on the Cresselia. If the Cresselia is still up, it's still a very big problem for Jeremy. Or it's still the biggest threat.
Yep.
So we see the Fire Punch directly onto the Cresselia. We were able to knock it out. And the
Kangaskhan is fast asleep.
but it's paralyzed. So no more tailwinds. The boosted Groundon, but the paralyzed Salamence gives the speed advantage. Finally goes back to Travis.
Did we see the speed stat of this Primal Groudon?
We don't know.
It might be a very quick max speed Groudon that we're seeing here. In the first round, we saw the Groudon have struggles just
But
because
instead,
it was
we
icy
see
winded.
the Smeargles coming in. And in this case, I might say that Travis is not using the Kyogre this time.
Yeah, Travis probably wants to conserve that Primal Groudon because it does not want to take damage or come in if that Primal Groudon is not asleep.
贏唔贏到啊？蘇華頭先唔夠你。
That being said, because the Salamence is paralyzed, it does not have to be afraid of a Dark Void from one Smeargle.
But the situation is that whether Kangaskhan could wake up in time to knock out Salamence.
Will Jeremy choose to Tailwind with that Salamence? That's the question. A Protect from the Groudon and a Tailwind with the Salamence could give a very big advantage back to Jeremy, but that's only if the Salamence survives this turn.
And the Kangaskhan. Yes, but we see the Protect first from the Groudon. Oh, it wakes up and uses the double edge directly onto the Salamence, knocking it out with a critical hit.
Yeah, Travis doesn't want to see a Tailwind being set up. That would probably mean the end of the game for him.
And the Dark Points, and then we see the multiples of special defense of the Smeargle and the drops of attack.
I wouldn't say the position is too bad for Jeremy right now, because as we've seen before, we have a Crafty Shield on this Smeargle, so it doesn't have to fear a Dark Void, and it can spam +2 attack Precipice Blades to the other side. And with Primal Groudon's large base defense stat, you can definitely take a hit or two from this opposing Kangaskhan.
Wow. Still a very tight match.
If Jeremy can preserve his Smeargle, then he could possibly wide guard against the Precipice Blades that Travis probably has on his Groudon at the back. That's unless the opposing Smeargle
Crafty Shields from
has something up his sleeve.
and a double edge onto the Smeargle. But it's not able to take it out.
It was intimidated by a Salamence switch in earlier.
And the Precipice Blades connects to both Pokemons, knocking out the Kangaskhan and activating the Focus Sash of the opposing Smeargle.
Well played by Jeremy, with that Crafty Shield protecting against that.
So the
Dark
Moody
Void.
speed boost and accuracy drops, and we'll see an accuracy increase of Jeremy's side and the speed fell. Wow, Dark is opposite.
So we will see the last Pokemon that Travis has, and it is the Groudon.
So it's still not over for Travis because there's still so many options for both sides.
How many moves have we seen from this Primal Groudon?
You mean Travis or
Yeah, Travis has Primal Groudon.
Eruption?
And just Eruption, right?
Fire Punch. And it's obvious that the Crucible Blade is still here.
Jeremy could play it safe
Guard.
this turn.
But if he
could-
use Wild Guard, he may have the chance to receive the Dark Voice from the
He could also double protect just to scout which moves that the opponent has.
Yeah.
He could Spiky Shield and protect, just to check the last move that the opposing Groudon has. But I would say that he is in a pretty good position right now.
No, I disagree. Because it's still a mind game.
But one side has a +2 attack stat.
That's
so-
true. But we have seen a lot of Crucible Blade missing.
Oh,
the critical
that's
moments.
very true. That's very true.
So the Crafty Shields from the Smeargle, not wanting to receive any Dark Voice, but he used the transform of his own Groudon.
Turn to transform.
Oh, the odds goes
Oh no!
to Jeremy's side.
Now
Maybe double missing the place. Oh, but it both connects.
And that will be game. That will be game.
All right. So here comes the end of the sweets, the 5 rounds of sweets of this tournament, and we will proceed to top 8.
Yeah, and Jeremy will be advancing to top cut as well as Travis.
Yes. So what a great games we have seen.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. Very well played by Jeremy.
Yeah.
I think. Especially the use of that Smeargle. Wide guarding at the right times, crafty shielding against the opposing Smeargle at the
I don't
right
know,
times.
but Travis could maybe choose to use the Cowbit instead. That
Yeah.
brings him a very is a better advantage against Jeremy. But
Because Jeremy has no
no
really.
choice of
Yeah.
nerfing the water attacks if the weather control is going to lost.
Then at the same time, I think Travis felt that it's not a disadvantage to bring Groudon because the sun would definitely be up. But yeah, it was for the most part a very exciting and even match.
Yes. So we hope that the matches of the remaining players will end soon, so we could bring you the top 8 matches as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
So but here comes the end of the this current swimmings. So we'll come back soon. So stay tuned.
唉，慘。